Hello.
Hello.
So as you can see, there's actually 4 of us here today, not 3. Last minute addition. Hello, Lisa.
Hello.
So there's a few people here. Hello, Chloe. Did not read this book for the read along, although I have read it many years ago, but I'm bored on a train and thought I'd say hi. I hope you love Cinderella. I saw that you
the
were in my
picture.
front row seats and I'm jealous.
Oh
I
my
hope you
goodness.
loved it.
I hope she has an amazing time. Have a
Yeah.
good time, Chloe.
I think she went to the matinee showing because she sent a picture from her seat and I was like, I want to be there. And hello to other Chloe, although hello. Good start. Hello. Just dished dinner, so perfect timing.
Yes.
We love this. Hello, besties. Hello.
I love how that's keep oohing. Ooh.
Okay, so the first question, not just to you 3, but to everyone in the comments, what was your rating for City of Ashes?
I gave it a 4.5.
Ooh, still all very, very good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what's the word? Ratings. Why did I forget?
Things that grated on me slightly, which brought it down from a 5. That was.
I'm wondering if it's the same things that grate on me in this.
Probably.
But it doesn't. Because everything else is so high, those little things just don't really affect it for me. I'm just Cassie Claire trash, clearly. But obviously I gave it 5 stars and I like tabbed and annotated the hell out of it, which I'm absolutely loving. So yeah. Oh, we had a few more hellos. Hello. Love the new hair, Lisa. Clicked off that really quickly. Sorry, Jamie. Still finishing book 1 on part 3, but these are all rereads. Yeah. I was going to say, please don't. You'll get spoiled. But it's absolutely fine. 4 stars, 4.5 stars. Chloe's also annotating. And I
saw that.
think she said that she's having a fun time with it. And I'm like, yes.
She's writing in the book, isn't she, and highlighting it in different colours. I was like, I love that for you. That's all I want to say.
When I say I'm annotating, I mean I'm not writing directly in the book. I'm literally, I have these tabs. And I don't know what this one. Oh yeah, that was a page 86. We're going to come back to that one. It was just my thoughts on a thing. Did go to the matinee. It was amazing. Oh
yes, for you.
I know this isn't about Cinderella musical, but was Carrie there? 4 stars, 3.5 stars, almost a 4. 3.5 is still really good. 4 stars on a reread. Very high 4 stars. Really enjoyed rereading this as I'd forgotten some of the plot.
Same.
Which is really weird because Danny, you only read this one the first time, like what, last year was it?
Last year.
Yeah. The last time I reread this was 2018, I think, and I still remembered every single thing.
Yeah, but you are trash for Cassie Claire.
Cassie Claire. Not retaining information, it would seem.
Hello, not quite this yet. Got still about 100 pages, but enjoying it. Was in a slump in February. Think it's going to be a 4 stars though. We will be talking spoilers, so we will try and stick to the first half of the book first and then move on to the second half because I don't want you to be spoiled for the ending. So we'll warn before we start going into spoilers for the later end of the book.
Yeah.
Another 3 stars for me, but I have hope as the series goes on, my ratings will get higher.
I think
I think the 4th one is my least favourite of the entire series. The 6th one is everything.
Yes.
I adore the 6th one. It's just perfect.
That's like the thickest book I think out of the series, and I flew through it like absolutely amazing.
It's so easy to read.
Amazing.
4 stars. I think for me it's really good, but it's just not as good as
Same.
City of Bones.
That's
Yeah, definitely. I mean, to be fair, it doesn't have the greenhouse scene. I'm going to keep going on about it because I love that scene, just saying. I love it in the film. I love it in the books. The only thing I do love about the film. Surprise, surprise, it's Jamie Campbell-Bower.
Yeah.
Feels so good to be here with you. With school, I didn't get to read one book. I studied for 6 hours just today, but reading finally. Aww. 5-star, a reread for me, but first time with the audiobook, which I also enjoyed.
I love the audiobook.
I've never done the audiobooks for these. I've only done the audiobooks for Chain of Gold when I did my first reread of that. And then the Dark Artifices when I did my second reread of that. I listened to the audiobooks because the second and third book in that trilogy is narrated by James Masters, which if you know, you know I love Spike and Buffy, and that is James Masters. And he is just one of the characters he actually puts on a voice and he sounds like Spike, and I'm here for it so much. Yeah, Brian, all over the pages. I mean, Chloe, I feel like you're going to be a bit proud of me because I'm going to attempt to do that with Addie LaRue. I got gifted a slightly damaged copy from Erin, and it's already damaged, and it's exactly the same as a copy I've already got. So why not try?
Yeah.
I'm gonna
She's saying that like, let's try.
It's gonna hurt. Meant to put not quite finished.
Yeah.
Hello, Tony.
Hello.
5-star for me, of course. Feels so much happens in the series. I couldn't remember what happens when. Yeah, especially if you binge read it. I feel like it's going to be a lot easier to separate them out this time.
Yeah.
Because we're sticking to one book a month. Whereas the first few times I read them, I was binging them. I was reading. I think the first time I ever read them, I read the entire 6-book series of this in a month. And then I read the Infernal Devices, and no, not doing that order again. Which is why my order's different for this.
Yeah. But yeah.
You are welcome. We don't do spoilers here. Unless you ask for spoilers, Katie.
Like I did.
Can't see any of these books getting less than a 4 stars. I'm enjoying getting back into these after reading the rest of the Shadowhunter series. It changes your perspective on some things, Alec. Yes, it definitely does. It really does. Spike from Buffy. Yes. That is the correct response. Just yes. City of Fallen Angels audiobook is narrated by Molly Sequin and Ed Westwick.
Is it? Oh.
Why did you not tell me this? I didn't know it was Ed Westwick. Right, okay. Audiobook in the rest of the... I am, yeah.
Definitely.
I think I'm going to have to. I think I only ever binge read them before. Yeah.
Same here.
So when you do that, it's so hard to like pick them apart on like what happens in what book.
I have to watch what I say because I'm like, at first, obviously because I've reread it, it's fine. But at first I was like, oh wait, is that even in that book? Or is that in a later book?
Yeah, because with City of Bones, you didn't actually reread it, did you? Before the live show.
And then I was like, I'm going to have to reread because there were things I was thinking was in City of Bones and it wasn't. And I was like,
I'm going to mention that now.
There's literally a thing I wrote in this, which I think I actually made a note in here as well, that when we read one of the later books, I don't want to say which one because I don't want you to be expecting it from a certain book, but I want to actually come back to something in this book and see because there's a thing and I'm like, but I can't say what because that would be spoilers. Yes, Spike. I struggled through the audiobook of Lady Midnight because it wasn't him. It wasn't, but I do quite like the narrator. Not as much, but I can never remember her name. But if you've watched Gotham, she plays Gordon's wife or ex-wife in that. But I can never remember her name. Not even her character's name because it's been so long since I watched Gotham. But yeah, she is a good narrator. She just doesn't put on the voices the same way as James Masters does. To be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of fantasy or romance books, but maybe I'll like this one. Honestly, this whole series is great.
Yeah.
And with this being the second book, it's just sort of like it's starting to delve more into it now because it's been set up. We know what shadow hunters are now.
Yeah.
Now this is good stuff.
Yeah.
And we get to see Magnus more in this one,
Oh,
which
Yes.
Still not as much as I'd like.
No, we need more.
Just wait.
I mean, just remember there is an entire trilogy that is about Magnus and Alec. So you've got that coming.
I love that.
Did think something happened in this book, but it didn't. I was waiting and waiting and waiting, and then nope. I think I know exactly what thing. Danny, ooh. It's only City of Fallen Angels. They change narrators every book for the last 8. No. Oh no. At least you get him for one book. I might just listen to that audiobook for him. I love Ed Westwick.
Same.
Love Magnus here is my favourite. I think he's everyone's favourite character.
Yeah.
He's just so lovable. I love him. Hello, Liv. I hope everyone enjoyed the book. We did.
I did.
Magnus is my favourite. He is literally the best.
Yes.
Okay, so I've got to get my notes because we have stuff to talk about. The first thing, I'm curious to see, what are your opinions on the whole Simon and Clary dating?
No.
No.
It's such a try-hard thing because she clearly doesn't have feelings for him. And she wants to have feelings for him. But poor Simon, poor sod.
It makes me so angry.
Yeah.
That she's basically leading him on because she's like, oh, well, I like Jace, but you'll do.
Yeah.
And
the fact that when she's kissing him, she's like, oh, yeah, it's sweet, but it's not like Jace. Stop, don't compare.
No.
Yeah, don't
Like
compare them,
she's
it's weird.
She's essentially just saying, this feels like kissing my brother, and it's like, you didn't think that when you was kissing Jay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it literally every time Simon calls her like babe or something, I'm like, it makes me cringe every time them two act any sort of like together as anything more than friends.
And I was like, oh my god, are they going to sleep together? Because they're going to sleep together. Because it was like, oh, you could stay married. And I was like, no, don't, please.
Yeah, I was the same. I was exactly the same. I was like, don't do that to him, please.
See, for me, that was really weird because I was like, have they never shared a bed before? Because like, I had a guy best friend, and we would just always stay in the same bed because, you know, we were friends. And like, if Liv stays at my house, she stays in my bed. We're friends. And I was like, when I was reading it the very first time I ever read it, I was like, have they never shared a bed before? Like, why is this weird for them that they're sharing a bed?
I've never shared a bed with any of my friends.
Oh, see, I have. It's always been.
Yeah, I used to all the time.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm also loving this energy. Hated it. Sorry for Danny, who is in for a year of me screaming over.
I love it. Honestly, it's like the best thing I ever had was when we'll talk about it later on when she was screaming.
Danny!
Spoilery thing that I don't know if people would have got to if they haven't finished the book yet.
Yeah.
No, thank you. Simon and Clary, it was bleh. Yuck. Simon and Clary is a no. I found it so and she's just so not into it. Yeah. It made me nauseous.
Yeah.
Feel sorry for Simon.
Yeah.
I do, but also he knows she's not into him.
Yeah.
And it's like he's trying to like not force her to like him, but like, oh, if I just go along with it for a bit, she'll start liking me eventually. Like, no, Simon, honey, no.
Honey, no.
Honey, no. I love Simon, I love Clary. I hate them together. They work better as friends. They really do. Their dynamic as friends, like they felt just so awkward every time they were together. And like when they like hold hands at one point and Luke's like, huh?
It's like,
It's a thing now?
is it the-
It's when he calls Clary his girlfriend,
oh yeah.
and it was like, oh, what?
I
No,
was like, no, thank you. No.
No.
And even she didn't know it was a fucking thing.
no.
It's like,
Apparently so.
Ask
I'm
her.
pretty sure she said apparently so.
He just presumed. He was like, oh, girlfriend, no.
Something you would talk about, surely. Hated it. That whole relationship was part of why I couldn't rate the book higher. That is
Yeah.
completely
Partly
understandable.
why
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
important
I had a
that-
feeling that would be.
Yeah.
I mean, I like Simon, but it kind of feels like he's punching. Oh, that hurts.
Oh
Simon,
no.
I feel like you might change your opinion of Simon.
Yeah, I think she
Honestly, he
Mm.
improves as a character so much.
I feel like she's punching, to be honest.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I do.
like I love
Yes.
Clary, but
She
No.
does a
She's-
lot of sucky things.
Yeah.
Where he's just
She's-
like, just love me, please.
Yeah. He's very much like a puppy dog, but one of those. He's really cute, and you think like, I don't know, her and Jace does feel a bit insta-lovey anyway, which kind of makes me feel a bit of the ick. And insta-love is a thing that I will never get behind in a book because it's not real. I mean, I know a lot of things in fantasy aren't real, you know, people fighting demons, not real, but insta-love, you can fight a demon, but isn't insta-love in a thing? But you know what I mean? It's just insta-love just makes like, I
you've got
looked
to
at
have
him
some
and
sort of build up.
yeah,
Yeah.
It can't just
And all
be
of it-
instant. Like attraction, yes.
Yeah.
Love, no.
and all of a sudden she's comparing kissing him to kissing Jace. I'm like, he's your fucking brother. Stop it.
I know.
Stop
Like,
listening
you
to
shouldn't be
your
thinking
brother.
about Jace right now while you're doing this. Please
I'm
stop.
like,
Please stop. Please stop. Their great male-female friendship. I wish they stayed platonic.
yep.
Didn't like Simon in this book, but I really liked him in City of Bones. I think it's because he made lots of assumptions about his relationship with Clary.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly this. Yeah, I had a girlfriend I was going to visit, and she was like, "I'll sort you an airbed," and I was like, "Oh, that's new." Like, the only time I've ever not shared a bed with a friend when I've stayed or they've stayed is if it was a single bed.
Mhm.
But like, it just doesn't make sense. I'm confused.
Yeah.
Ed Westwick also reads in Clockwork Prince. She said they've shared a bed before in book one. I think it was the relationship that made it awkward. Oh yeah, that's fair. That would sort of make it a bit more awkward. It's like, oh, we've done this before, but
Do I
we're
want to
now
see mine?
different dynamic.
Right in, because she manages to make us as a reader feel so incredibly awkward and
Yeah.
like cringe. You're like inwardly cringing. You're like, oh my goodness. And
What
that's
did you
just
say
what-
the other day, Daddy? What was crawling a tree?
Oh, yes.
I said, right, I was really cringing, and I said, I cringed so hard that if I had a willy, it would have retracted inside of myself. Like it was.
That is exactly how I felt about Clary. Simon. I'm like, ew, no, ew, stop.
Oh, I mean that is accurate though.
Yeah.
Someone's just so desperate to be with Clary, bless him. Yeah, it is. Yeah, but at the same time, I feel like he tried to like. I feel like maybe if he had not been so in her face with it
Yeah.
and started calling her his girlfriend before they even discussed it, like if this was a real life thing, like it's possible if they took it really slow and he didn't throw things like that at her, then maybe her feelings would have developed for him.
I think if they'd have developed, they'd have developed by now. Do you know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
they were close as it was. Like and she wasn't. If she was attracted to him in that way in any way, shape, or form, she'd have felt something before he said he loved her. Even if it was even if it just been a case of like, you know, in books to do this. Oh, I'm looking at him differently, but should I look at him like that? If there'd have been any of that
Yeah.
We'd be doing
building
it.
up to this, I'd have been like, kind of a bit annoying that they still can't be just friends, but let's move on and see what happens. But there was none of that before. It was like, oh, I love you, and then she's like, oh well, Me and Jess are brother and sister, so fuck it, I'll go on my best friend.
The next person who's after me.
Yeah, it just kind of became like, oh, well, Simon's second best, so that'll do.
Yeah.
He's right there. He's been pining this whole time. And the thing is, she knows that he's been pining this whole time as well.
Yeah.
And if she was really like his best friend, she wouldn't do it. Because
It's
she would
selfish.
know that she's going to hurt him.
She's
And
doing
also,
it
why
to
is
try
she
and
thinking about dating while her mum is still in a coma?
I know, she needs to get her priorities in a better shape.
I know.
And you can't blame that on her being a teenager, because that's just
No, that one. There's
Pure
many things
nonsense.
I'm like, right, she's a teenager, let her off. But that's one thing I'm like, no.
No.
Rachel from Rachel Co's going to stay with me, and I'm just like, just hop in my bed. Exactly.
Yeah.
I stayed on the sofa when Becca's dead at mine. I was just like, have your bed to yourself. I've never stayed.
Yeah, I don't get that. I've always shared beds with my friends. I think it's the puppy likeness of him that makes me think he's punching, and the desperation. It's just nope. Yeah.
Oh, I see what you mean. The way he behaves rather than him as a person.
I definitely think you're going to start to like Simon more.
I think because I know Shell, I think she's definitely going to like Simon. Like, definitely.
His character development is one of my favourite in any book. Like, I
it showed bits of himself. The one because, like I said, I've seen the series, and I know that some things differ in the books from the series. So I'm trying to think of them as two separate things. But I definitely feel like if his development is anything like it is in the series, you will start to like him more. But you've seen glimpses of it, of like this little bit of a bite of that he's got, and a little bit of sarcasm, and a little bit of like, it's like, oh, he's got something about him. So you've seen bits of it, but then when it comes to Claire, it's like that all goes out the window, and it's just like puppy dog eyes, and he forgets himself, and it's just.
I mean, I like your choice of words with a little bit of bite because of what happened.
That was good.
We'll go into that in a minute.
Whatever do you mean, people?
I agree completely with the insta love. I'm always thinking, what did I miss? Yeah, it always feels like you've missed something. Like there's a whole section where you've missed the build up of it.
So all of a sudden I would die for them. Like, what, you met them yesterday?
Yeah.
The relationship really brought the worst out of both of them. It did.
True.
Yeah.
True.
I'm sorry for Willie and Dave. That made my
Wally. Wally.
Yeah, you think with everything going on, don't even be the last thing on her mind.
Yeah.
Don't not like Simon. I had a total crisis about him later in the book. I have heard, and I'm excited to get to that bit. This is like very early on, page 29 to be exact. I write down the page numbers on my notes so that I know exactly what part, so I don't spoil people. But Maris acting like Jace is a stranger just because she now knows his dad isn't who she thought her dad.
Can I fucking punch a fictional character?
Oh, she gave me the.
I hate her in this book.
She's awful.
She really is.
This shocked me because she's not like that in the series. She's standoffish with a lot of people, but it's very much like she was still kind of very motherly to him. And this whole side of her, she kind of come across as stoic in the series, but in this, I was like, I actually fucking hate this bitch.
Yeah.
Like, how can you treat it? You've raised him practically for half of his life.
You've known him since he was 10 years old.
You know
that
him
is
as a
literally
person.
like 7.5 years of his life. You have raised him, and just because you found out his dad is like Valentine Morgenstern instead of Michael Wayland, suddenly he's a completely different person. Like overnight, he's changed to be his dad.
That broke me.
Yeah, when she's like, I don't believe you.
I know.
I say he wasn't working with Valentine, and I'm like, why would he suddenly be working with Valentine just because he's found out he's his dad?
Yeah.
Like, why would that make any sense? Like,
no.
And literally all assuming that because he didn't go with Valentine, he's a spy for Valentine. Like, maybe he just didn't want to go with Valentine because Valentine acted like he was dead all this time and abandoned him.
And he wanted to be around the people that he actually loved.
Exactly.
Like Alec and made me.
I'm glad
cringe.
everyone feels the same way.
Yeah.
I hated that.
Wanted to punch her in that part.
Same.
Hate her so much in this book. I can sort of understand to a point where she's coming from. She's got a whole lot of trauma where Valentine's concerned, also the fear of the clave. Yeah, and I think that is sort of addressed a little bit later in the book.
It is.
But at that first point, I'm like, how can you do this to him? Like, he's been abandoned so much in his life,
Yeah.
and you're just going to do the same thing, like just like that out of nowhere. It really, really hurts.
It's
Yeah.
just kind of like she gives up on him really quickly.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, bye.
But that's not realistic in my eyes either. And again, I know
No.
demon hunters, but like, it's you don't spend half of a child's life raising him as your own, treating him as your own child, bringing him into your family as one of your own children, and then be like, no, like,
Yeah.
pack your bags and go. You by yourself now because you found out someone else is your dad that you've had no
Also-
contact with.
Also, the fact that it's literally they live in the institute, which has to open its doors to like shadow hunters in need. So she has no right to kick him out
Exactly.
because it's not like it's her personal home. Like, it's the institute for all shadow hunters. She has no right to kick him out. But I love how Jamie hated her, but still not as much as Clary.
You know, I kind of felt like she was kicking at the start. I thought she was maybe kicking him out to test him to see if he would go to Valentine. I was like, is this a test to see where his loyalties lie? And then I was as I was going through, I was like, no, she's just a bitch.
Yeah.
She's horrid.
While she's not actually his mother, she literally raised him for half his life, and
Yeah.
she knows that her blood children refer to him as their brother. Like,
yeah.
they've literally been raised together, they're best friends. Her son is literally Jace's parabatai. Like, that's like, they don't just let anyone do parabatai,
Yeah.
like do the parabatai bond. Like,
Yeah.
it hurts. Wanted to punch her throughout the whole book, even when she explained herself not good enough.
Yeah.
Like, you
Yeah.
sort of understand it, but you still hate her for it because it's
Yeah.
not an excuse.
Not an excuse.
Was so annoyed with the way she acted. She didn't really show any care towards him, even though she's raised him, and automatically thought the worst of him.
Yeah.
Which is what he's like always been afraid of, like, is people thinking the worst of him.
There was different ways she could have managed that. She could have tried to keep him safe without treating him like that. And I mean, yeah, he's a teenager, and yeah, there's certain things that you don't want to be talking about to a teenager. But you know, if she wanted to keep him safe, and there was different ways of doing it other than breaking him emotionally and needing him to do what he did in the bar. Like, he's already a broken child, and you've literally just built him up for 7.5 years, and just like, see you bye.
And the fact that Valentine raising him, he did abuse him. Like, he mentally abused him.
Yeah.
Sorry, raised him.
I'll just kill an animal you love in front of you. Like,
this is a lesson. Like, what?
You don't love things.
I could kind of understand the Inquisitor questioning Jace's motives, but Mayoress had no excuse. However, the Inquisitor did sort of have a bit of a power play there. And obviously we find out she has a motive behind why she's treating Jace, why she's treating him. But she is in a position of authority. She should not be abusing that power for her own personal motives.
Yeah. From the start, as soon as she came in, I know that she would have had to be impartial. She is like a government figure, so clearly she can't have any sway left or right or blah blah blah. Do you know what I mean? So I could understand her being more harsh and not really considering the emotional side of like where it's come from and stuff, because she's got a job to do. But from the moment she comes on page, you know she's uncharacteristically like on him. I was thinking from the start, like, this isn't right. There's clearly something else here, that she's being overly harsh on him. Like, just believe, if he says he hasn't done anything, you're supposed to be the inquisitive and all-knowing or whatever, then why are you still being such a twat?
You could tell straight off she had a vendetta against them.
Yeah.
Straight away you were like,
It was obvious.
What's going on here? Yeah.
Who's got to stick up your ass, woman?
No.
She's so standoff, which is so sad. I felt bad for Jace. Yeah, this is the point. Like, a lot of people don't like Jace as a character, and while I completely get that, like, you know, he's not the best character, he's very arrogant, but you find out, you like the things like this, you're finding out why he's like that because of how he's being treated his entire life, and how he's still continued to be treated by someone who's supposed to be like his mum. Like, which is sad because I love Jace.
And he's never had his mother, and that's the thing. Like, fathers, he's had an abusive one, and then one that we don't really see at the moment. But mothers, he's never had one. She is the first person of a female figure that's shown him any kind of love in a motherly way. So to him, essentially, like, she is his mother, not by blood, but by... And then the fact that someone he's come to think of as a mother figure just suddenly abandons him. It's like his dad's abandoned him. His mother, he believes, abandoned him as a baby.
Yeah.
So he's now had like 3 people abandon him, and he's 17 years old. It's like, what the frick?
It's like he's basically building a wall up around himself and saying, I don't want to hurt anymore. I've been hurt enough.
And you don't blame him, like, for the way he acts because of that. Because if people didn't treat him the way, like, they treated him, he wouldn't retaliate. Like,
exactly. And not just that, he's got lots of things to be sad about. He's in love with his sister.
Yeah.
He doesn't know what to do about it. So he's got that on top of all this.
His mum, who he didn't know existed, is currently in a coma.
Yeah.
His dad, who he thought was dead, is actually alive.
And he's the villain. He's the villain.
Having read the short story Where the Lightwoods Meet Jace, it makes so much more mad at her. Yeah, this is in, I believe it's Goes to the Shadow Market. There is a short story where it's actually the part where Jace is taken after, like, his dad dies, after Michael Whalen dies. He's taken to go stay with the Lightwoods, and they meet, and it's just like, baby Jason Alec. It's so cute. But yeah, it just makes you more mad at Mayrus. Also, I love that you actually get the pronunciation of Mayrus in this book. It actually spells it out when Luke's telling Simon about her, and he's like, Mayrus, and spells it out. And I'm like, thank you, because I always had to say her name.
I appreciate that as well.
As soon as the Inquisitor arrived, she had it in for Jace.
Yes.
So much to say about Mayrus, but spoilers. Me and Danny are like, the Inquisitor is meant to be neutral, but clearly has a bias against Jace. I could understand it as she didn't know Jace, but Mayrus knew him. Exactly.
I can't understand how biased she was, though. There was no need for her to be that way to him. And, like, she wasn't only not biased, but she was actively aggressive and nasty to him.
Slight spoiler for, like, the later on in the book, but you find out the reason she's so aggressive is because it is Valentine's fault that her son is dead. But still, that's Valentine, not Jace.
Not Jace.
Yeah.
I know.
Jace was like, what, a baby at this point?
Yeah, but he's the byproduct of Valentine. So he is who she's faced with. So it's like if you're mad at a delivery driver, for example, because your order's late. It's not their fault your order's late generally. It's the people that make it. Fun fact, your sister and I were talking about this yesterday. So now I'm using it as an example. So it's just because he's there in front of her, and it's easy for her because she's got the power and she could do it. But she's got a cruelness to her. The things that she does to him, that's really personal.
I was almost, I mean, I almost teared up so much at this book, but it's because I don't know, Cassie has a way of making you think that she's doing it to you. Like, she's treating you like shit. She's being mad at you, like you're being made to feel like you're an outsider. And I don't know how the hell she does it with the writing, but to me, I was just like, can you imagine that happening to you? Can you imagine being caged like that? Can you imagine being treated like that by someone you're raised by? And I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
Like, no, this is horrible.
The way she described, like, when he was in the prison, and he was describing how dark it was and how like, and then obviously things happen. I don't know when we're talking about, but that
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel
like,
like we can talk about that. That's like sort of what, like halfway through the book?
yeah. So
Yeah.
At that point. So
when
spoilers.
he's hearing all the Silent Brothers.
Oh,
that was
Yeah.
In that
horrific.
cell on his own.
I can't believe that was in a YA book. Sorry, but I was like,
Yeah.
There was a few
This is
bits
why
and
they're
pieces.
very much hot. Some of them get really higher end YA because they do get dark sometimes.
but like these are the people that you thought couldn't be. Well, obviously, like they were like the Silent Brothers. Like, everyone's scared of them. Like
Yeah.
they are.
They're supposed to be indestructible.
Yeah, and then to hear that, not only that, he actually heard them screaming and then saw one die in front of him. That for me, I was like, what am I reading? Like, how the hell is this YA? Like,
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not supposed to be reading this. What the hell?
Something seems to be a secret with the Inquisitor. I found I was intrigued with her and wanted more. You do maybe get some answers, don't worry. Just saying. She does. You get so sucked in with the writing, you almost forget that you aren't actually in the book and this is happening to you.
Yeah.
Agree, Lisa. I really like her writing, and I felt I cared even more for the characters in this book than I did the first. Yeah, it really hits you.
Yeah.
Like, so much.
And you really don't want anything bad to happen to any of the characters. I feel like I'm a big sister, and I literally want to get Alec, Izzy, and Jace to just wrap them up and be like, "You're not gonna get hurt." Like,
also, can we appreciate Clary being like, "Oh, I'm going to take Max to Forbidden Planet," and Jace is like,
"Well,
yeah."
Like, what's
oh my
Forbidden
God.
Planet?
I want in on that trip.
Max, you haven't seen
there
much
is-
of him, but he's going to be a proper little character in there. He's
So
just adorable.
There is a bit in page 53 where Luke just warms my heart because he is literally a parent to every kid in need.
Yeah.
Like when Jace, after the fight at the Hunter's Moon, and Luke's there for him, even though Jace just picked a fight with his entire pack. Luke is there for him and being a parent to him and being what Mayrish should have been.
Yeah, and the fact that he doesn't know Jace, he knows his parents, or knew his parents, knew of his parents, but the fact that he was just like, this kid is clearly hurting, and even though he hasn't spoken to him, he could tell that that wasn't the way that he would normally behave. He could tell by the way he was acting, the things he said, that there was something that was going on, and he was just like, just come and stay with me. I was like, why are you so lovely? Like, I don't want anything bad to happen to him because oh my God, I think I will cry if anything bad happens to Luke. I will die.
He just reminds me, I can't remember if I said this last time, but he reminds me of the Luke from Gilmore Girls.
Yes.
That's the image I have of him in my head.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but he's a similar character.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, he's not a werewolf. That could have brightened it up a bit. Could you imagine a werewolf in Gilmore Girls?
That would have been
wild.
That would be interesting.
A werewolf who sells coffee. Coffee and cake and some fangs.
The screaming part was very effective. It was.
Especially when you audiobook it. Don't audiobook it if you've got but do. It's great, but don't.
We all have love for Max here. All have love for Max. The Inquisitor's reactions to certain things has given me some big theories for the later books.
Oh,
let's discuss that later.
You could say your theories, I'm sure.
I'm gonna want to hear these theories. Danny will probably have to cover her face. I have no reactions to anything, so if you want to say your theories, Danny will cover her face so she doesn't give anything away. On the subject of Luke, I see Aidan Turner still, and I'm not sorry.
Isaiah every time.
Aidan Turner was a great, the thing is, he fit the book description, but Isaiah fit the character description.
The way he acts.
He played the character, and I think it's partly because he got more time to play the character. But we'll never know if that was the reason. But because they stopped doing the films, which part of me's glad at, part of me's still bitter about. But I agree. Like, but we can all appreciate Aidan Turner.
Yeah, we can. But
Another thing that annoyed me about, like, mostly Imogen, but other people too, they kept calling him Jonathan, and he kept saying, "My name is not Jonathan, it's Jace."
Jace.
Like, just respect his wishes. But obviously, Imogen's not going to do that because it was Imogen.
No, it's just like he was actively, openly denouncing his name. Like, I am not the name that he gave me. I am not the kid that he.
Even if you're going to call him Jace Morgenstern, fine. He's just found out he's actually Morgenstern, not Wayland. Fine, but don't call him Jonathan if he's asking you not to. It just really rubs me up the wrong way.
It just goes with the little respect that people have for him, though.
Yeah.
And don't think of him as... It's like they treat him like he's a criminal. It's as if he's already been tried and he's the worst human being in the world.
They're treating him like he is Valentine.
Yeah.
Because they can't get to Valentine, they're going for his son instead.
Yeah.
Which is so
They forget
wrong.
that, like, he's literally also just found this out. He's just been exposed to all this the same time as everyone else.
Working with Valentine all this time. Like, the last 7 years of his life, just sneaking back to Valentine. But no, he thought he was dead.
Yeah.
But what I don't get is, why does Clary not get the same behavior?
She was never raised by him. She didn't even know he existed.
Still related though.
Yeah, but I do think it is very much a case of nurture here, because they know Jace was raised by him for 10 years of his life. Valentine's had 10 years to put his ideas and everything into Jace's brain, brainwash him. And he hasn't lived with him for 7.5 years, but there was still those 10 years where he was. Whereas Clary had never met Valentine. She didn't even know who Valentine was until Hodge told her about him in the first book. So I think but Imogen still says to her at one point, I think, I'm watching you as well. So even though she's not treating Clary the same, she's still keeping an eye on Clary because she's still Valentine's blood. And it's that doesn't mean come on. Still CTV, Luke.
Yes.
One time with the Jace Jonathan thing is fine, but then now respect his wishes. Exactly. The first time, fine. You're referring to him by his given name, but then he says to you, don't call me Jonathan, my name is Jace. He doesn't even say don't call me Jonathan Morgenstern. He just says don't call me Jonathan. My name is Jace. Just respect his wishes. Oh, it really annoys me. I know it's such a tiny, minuscule thing in the grand scheme of things. It's about respect.
Yeah.
Of which she clearly has none. I see show Luke, but put him back in the bookstore. I get the reason for making him a cop, but I wasn't a fan of the aspect. Yeah, it didn't make sense for him. He has a bookstore. Put him in the bookstore.
Is that in the TV show that he's
in the TV show?
Yeah, he's a cop in the TV show.
I've not watched the TV show. I've only watched the movie.
Yeah. So in the movie, he has a bookstore, which makes absolute sense because that's what's in the book. But no, not in the TV show.
That's such a weird
I liked him as a cop, though.
I mean, but I preferred him as owning a bookstore. Just picture me running the bookstore with him. Go away, everyone else. Just me, Luke. Run a bookstore. Exactly the same here, Lisa. I think they're also scared of Valentine and think Jace will be a copy of him, which is why they're so harsh towards him. But that doesn't excuse their behaviour. Yeah, I do get their fear behind it. Yeah. But like you said,
at least put him through the trial by the sword. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, we know what happens with the true sword, so you can't really do that. But at least give him that option first, being okay,
do you know what gets me? If she didn't put him in that prison for a night, if they'd just done the trial, the sword would have been there. But no, she had to put him in a prison cell for a night. Just for the sake of it, just to make her feel good and use her power. They view Clary as Jocelyn's daughter and a mundane before Valentine's daughter.
Yeah, I guess. I never really thought of it that way.
She seemed confused by Jace's scar, and Valentine mentioned something about blood, which makes me think Jace isn't who we think he is, but I'm also becoming a Clace fan, so might just maybe projected.
Oh,
but
sorry.
yeah, there is things with Imogen, like, you know, she sort of looks really like, has like she's figured out something, which you may or may not find out those answers. Just
So if
saying.
you've not read the last 100 pages, Sophie, leave now. We haven't commented for a while, so I'm guessing you've already left. But just in case you don't get spoiled for the latter half of the book, leave now.
How do they know Clary had no interaction with Valentine? I mean, her mother disappeared and so did Valentine. Both are considered dead. I think it's because of the block that was on her mind. So obviously Magnus Bane put the block on her mind, and she went to the Silent Brothers, and they could see that the block was there. So yeah, it's sort of a thing they know from that, that she's lived as a mundane, she's got no marks, and we know from how Valentine is, he's very much shadow hunters are the best, and if he had contact with his daughter, he would be making sure his daughter had marks. So they view Clary harsh too, just acting like she's a mundane. Where is the training for her? They're like they're all like, oh, you can't go out, and it's like, well, train her so she can. She's a shadow hunter by blood. Like, you lost two go. And they're both back. That was good timing.
Sorry, someone's at my door. Give me a scare. Like,
I was thinking, is Jace Stefan?
Stevenson, like Steven's son.
As in, is that not Imogen's son?
Yeah, Stephen is Imogen's son, so that's like a long time ago.
Yeah, but I think she's put Stephen's son below it. The comment below.
Oh,
Stephen's son.
Oh,
doesn't it say though that his Stephen's wife Celine dies while pregnant?
Yes, but did her baby die with her?
True, it doesn't specify. Hey guys, I know I'm late, so I'll watch back tomorrow, but just want to stop by. Hello. Love hearing everyone's theories.
I missed them all. I'll have to watch them back.
I want to say this is not plot driven at all. This is just my favorite line of any book ever. I literally underlined, obviously with the annotation notes, but underlined the entire thing. It's on page 146, if everyone would like to follow along. That you freed a possible criminal by trading away your brother to a warlock who looks like a gay Sonic the Hedgehog and dresses like a child actor from Chi Chi Bang Bang. It will forever be my favourite line of any book ever. And it just makes me love Simon that little bit more.
He has all these lines, doesn't he, that it's just like, what? Like, it's just a typical
nerdy and adorable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
I think did his wife commit suicide whilst pregnant? It wasn't like she was killed, she committed suicide. Wondered when they said about turning the sword into one of the infernal devices, is this foreshadowing for that series? Do you know what? I can't actually remember, so I literally cannot spoil anything with my face.
I can't remember either.
I think the only danger with these theories is that half of us know the answer to the theories, which is why Danny, if she hears the theories, has to hide her face so she doesn't give away anything. Chloe, you've got it good. We can't see your face. You're not going to give anything away. Sonic.
That's brilliant.
That line had me howling. I was going to say, is it the case Sonic Hedgehog line? Me right now. It's so hard when it's a reread, but you know others haven't read the books yet. Yeah, honestly, when I did the first live show, I was like, it made me realise, I was like, oh, why did I think doing this read along would be a good idea? Where I have to actually talk about the books individually when I have read every single one of them multiple times.
Yeah.
Gay Sonic the Hedgehog made me laugh so much when I read it, and I thought immediately, oh, that's Magnus. Talking of which, how do we feel about Magnus and Alec?
I don't like how it seems that somebody else outed the relationship.
Yeah.
I was kind of like, Nope.
Especially since Alec is very much not out.
Yes,
Yes.
clearly.
Like if
Very
Alec
clearly
was
not.
out, it wouldn't be as bad.
I
Like
still
it's still
don't
be
agree with
like
someone else out in the relationship.
no, but it wouldn't be as bad if like because I feel like if everyone knew about Alec, then everyone would be able to see it straight off the bat,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
easily. But I love them.
And the whole thing with like the truth rune, and he was about to like go in and be like,
Oh, the
you knew
fearless
what was
rune.
coming,
Oh,
the fearless rune, and I was like, oh my god, he's gonna tell his parents it. Oh my god, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? And
I
then
was like,
Magnus
Clary, put
steps
the
in.
rune back on him. Don't let it run out.
But then like Magnus steps in, and I was like, oh my god.
I mean, I do like that Magnus steps in because I feel like Magnus knows how Alec would feel once the rune has worn off and
Yeah.
he's like, oh my god, what did I do? So
Yeah.
But then
it just makes me love Magnus a bit more.
once it was out, Alec could be a bit more relaxed, hopefully, so. Because why is he
Yeah.
so scared of telling his parents?
Shadowhunters are very homophobic.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Not all Shadowhunters. I will say that not all Shadowhunters, but a lot of the older generations of Shadowhunters are very
Right.
much.
Yeah.
Because when I
Yeah.
was reading it, I was a bit like, why is he so scared? Like, I understand, obviously. Well, I don't personally understand because I've never been in the situation where I've had to come out to family or anything. But I understand that it's a big thing for people to do it. But with Alec, it just feels that he's just terrified to say
Yeah.
anything. And I couldn't figure out the link of why he was that
Isn't-
terrified.
Yeah.
Am I getting it wrong? Isn't he expected to get with someone else as well, though?
That's not in the books.
Oh,
that
right,
was
okay.
the TV only.
Oh, I was going
Right,
to
And
say.
that was the thing they added for the TV show.
Yeah. I don't.
Although I
So-
do kind of love the scene. That
Yeah.
scene, literally, that episode was literally the day before my birthday, and I was like, "Happy birthday to me!"
But yeah, like if you've not seen the series, spoilers for the series, but like yeah, in the series it was kind of like it was betrothed to someone else kind of thing, or expected
okay.
to be with someone else. So in that respect, when I was watching the shit, I was like, oh right, well that's why I didn't want to come out. But in the book, I was kind of like you, Kate. I was like, well, yeah, it's gonna be difficult for anyone to come out to the family, but yeah, it does seem actually scared, doesn't it?
Yeah, in the TV shows, they really aged them up because he's supposed to be like just turned 18.
No, he's
And
not.
in the TV show, they make him like he's like 21 or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, neither could Danny Bradman. Yeah, Danny's just like, don't look at me. I really like the humour in these books. Some lines have me laughing out loud. I literally have a whole colour. Everything orange is stuff that's actually made me laugh out loud. One of them made me snort laugh. I can't remember what one it was. But I can almost guarantee every single one of these orange bits is either Jace or Simon.
Yeah.
Because those two are just the best. Jace's sarcasm is everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm glad I can hide in the comments and not comment on the theories. Alec hiding the apartment key from them, but still unlocking the door. Sweetest thing, and I don't know why. I'm not really a fan of either of them. Wait, is this
Magnus?
Is this Magnus and Alec? Oh, I love them. I think you might like them later on. We need to talk about the fearless scene. Alec is so great in that. Honestly, I'm just like, I need Alec like this all of the time.
Yeah, he was just so ballsy. He was like,
Yeah,
what I have to say.
Yeah, get your balls, because it's very much like he's very much like, you know, this is the Shadowhunter way. This is the way that Shadowhunters are supposed to be, supposed to act. I'm being the dutiful older son and all this lot, and I'm just like, dude, again, stick out your ass and just be who you want to be. Like,
Yeah.
oh, I just want to check him sometimes because it's very much
I
like
feel like a lot of that is acceptance as well. He wants to make his parents proud, especially being the oldest. Like it's that typical oldest child syndrome. Where you want to make your parents proud, and like especially for Shadowhunters, it's like a big thing. So the fearless rune sort of just shows how much he doesn't really care about that. He'd rather be happy.
Yeah.
He's like
I
he
really
wants to come out, but
yeah, I really like Alec and Magnus' idea, but Alec is clueless, so clueless. I'm livid for Malik. They are my favourite right now. The Alec and Magnus build-up is so good. God, it's been ages since I've read TMI, but the nostalgia. You know my views about Malik. They're adorable. I love that Magnus steps in to protect.
Yeah.
Malik. The prejudice comes from the fact Shadowhunters are born, so there's a big importance on having kids to pass on the gene. I could be wrong, though. Yeah, because obviously where the Mortal Cup was missing, and the Mortal Cup is what they use to create like new Shadowhunters that aren't just born Shadowhunters. So without that, they do sort of rely on just people having kids. So with the Mortal Cup missing for all of those years because Jocelyn hid it in a card.
But then as well, this kind of goes to show if his mum has acted the way that she has toward Jace, who's not even her son by blood, what reaction is she going to have if he comes out and says, by the way, I'm not who you think I am? Yeah, but the dad doesn't really seem to have a lot of say. He's like
not really
barely in this book. Was it Robert?
Yeah.
He's away on business, isn't he, all the time?
Yeah.
Probably just to get away from that bitch, isn't he? Like, can't stop to be around you. I'm going away on business. That's him out.
I'm going to go to Idris later.
Later, bitch. Peace out.
I'm listening to all this and really want to reread these books. Do it. I love that Jace gave crap to Clary about not noticing how Simon felt about her. I kept thinking, Jace, Alec.
I know.
Literally, the whole first book is about like everyone but Jace can see Alec clearly has a crush on him.
Yeah. Well, I think it's more than just a crush initially, isn't it? Like, oh god, that made me laugh as well. I was like, dude, check yourself, or check someone else. Like,
you're gonna join the next trilogy, yes, Rosie. Wait, what, Lisa? We need to talk about this. What?
You talk about what?
Wait, what bit? What bit? Oh wait, it looks amazing, but how come you didn't tell me this is not done? Your hair.
Yeah.
Rose?
It is on
Twitter.
It is on there.
Don't
she did
tell. I tweeted about it, but I bleached it and then put the colour on it.
Oh, Rosie.
I love you so much, but dude.
It is on there.
I haven't seen the show, but I watched the movie right after reading City of Bones, which was a mistake. I just spent the first 100 pages deeply confused. The book and movie endings are so different. They really are. Yeah. Even when Alec volunteers to test the rune in the Fearless scene, it's so unlike him. Alex is the well-behaved rule follower. I think it's he's trying to impress both Jace and Magnus. I'd be like, no, do it.
I'm cool. I'll do it.
I'll try it.
I'll break these rules. I'm not a stuck-up kid anymore.
It looks amazing, but how come you? Oh, I already did that comment. Shadowhunters also couldn't have kids through IVF to continue the Shadowhunter bloodline because they don't interact with the mundane world. It is very much if you seek help from mundanes for like any sort of health reasons, you're going to get, like, if you get found out, your runes are going to get stripped, and that they're very much against any sort of mundane help.
Right.
So, yeah. So it is literally a case of they have to, get freaky with it and have some kids.
Get in jiggy with it.
No, you're blonde. I'm shooketh. Very fun. So can we this is going to get into really spoilery now, so if you haven't finished this book and you don't want spoilers, please mute or leave us, because I don't want this to be spoiled. But let's talk about what happens to Simon.
I love it. I love it.
I love that, because I was like, in my head when I first read this, I was like, well, he can't be a shadow hunter, but he's got to be something.
Yeah.
So being a vampire is the next best.
I knew it. I knew it from what happened in the first book.
Yep.
I knew that was something was going to happen. I was like, hey.
Also, that Raphael is like, if he had just left it alone, it would have been fine. But he came looking.
Yeah, but that's just Simon all over, isn't it? He can't.
It
He's
is.
just like, oh, you would have been fine. He's like, no, I must go all the way over here into the danger just to prove a point because I'm Simon. Like, no,
I could be a badass too, you know. I'm like,
Yeah.
stop it.
But Raphael bringing him to Clary, and Clary being like, it needs to be a specific place we bury him, and I'm like,
Oh.
stop
Yeah.
it.
But the fact that she was like very like wary of them, thinking that they were going to hurt Simon, and when she became very protective of him, and not like that's the kind of relationship you want from a friend, isn't it?
Yeah.
And like I was just like, if they'd have just kept it like this, where she was protective, she loves him as a friend, and she don't want anything to come, any harm to come to him. But that whole thing where she started doubting and people like wanting to hurt him, I was just like, oh, I actually felt for her then. That's one of the times I did like her.
Yeah. but yeah, I just love Simon so much.
Yeah, me too.
And
Yeah.
I love it so much. Oh yeah, they're very isolated from Mondays, and it seems like they never interact. Can't wait to get to the last hours for more LGBTQI. You are gonna love the characters that.
I've not read the last hours yet.
No.
Or your favourite one, the Darker Places.
You've got a while.
I've got a while.
Next year.
Love it. Vampires are awesome. I love Simon being a vampire in his own storyline.
Yes.
Even upon reading, I felt the panic that he was exposed on the boat and the sun was coming up. Right. How many times in this film, this book, did it make you think Simon was going to die?
I swear to God, I was having a panic attack.
Yeah.
Like him turning up covered in blood first. And it's like, right, no, it's fine. He's fine because he's technically going to die, but it's fine.
But you just bury him. See, that whole thing, before we get any further than that whole thing where they had to bury him so he didn't actually like cease to exist. And Raphael, but I mean, I do like Raphael for bringing him to them, but I was just like, I felt like I just wanted to shake him and say, Simon, you're a fucking idiot. And then like her watching her, like they had to bury her friend, and then she had to trust that this vampire that wasn't honest when they first met, doesn't know if he has an ulterior motive. She has to like follow his instructions, otherwise she might lose her best friend forever.
Yeah.
That whole thing, I was on tenterhooks. I was like,
I was really struggling with that scene because not only, like you were saying, he had to be buried, not just that, Raphael even says that if he is buried, he might not necessarily come back up if he can't get his way out. And I was like, oh my God, he's gonna die. He's gonna die again. They're gonna bury him.
One of my fears is being buried alive.
Yeah.
And that to me was like, I don't know that probably is a normal fear for most people, but that's something that I used to like have nightmares about, and used to, oh my God. So that whole thing, I was just like, fuck, what if that happens to him? Oh my, I nearly died myself.
Because what are you meant to do if that did happen and he didn't come back up? Do you just leave them there?
Like,
can you bury that? Can you dig them up if they're like that? Like, how does it? I can't just leave them there. Oh, there's so many questions.
Yeah.
We've got some love for Raphael, which I'm like here for because I love Raphael so much.
I didn't in the first book, but I like the fact that he seems to have some kind of conscience, and it could have just left Simon, you know, to cease to exist because he was an absolute idiot for what he did. But he went out of his way to try and save him and give them direction and also, save him and stuff like that.
He didn't make the decision on whether to just let him die or turn him or let the process actually happen. He left it to someone who actually knows Simon. Like I still feel like it's not Clara's decision, but out of everyone that was there that could make a decision, Clary's the one.
Yeah.
So I'm glad he brought him to her.
Can I just say one thing about the whole vampire thing? Simon's mum. Does Simon's mum just not notice anything? Because this has been going on for some time now, and he's not just got the cold or the flu.
Well, also, actually, it's only been about a week.
Well, his windows must be taped up. Does she not come into his room and go?
Oh, this is true. Although if he's not well, then she's probably leaving stuff at his bedroom door for him.
Yeah.
Like, leaving food at his bedroom door so that she doesn't catch anything.
I don't know.
Like, because he's not a little kid. He's like 15 years old. So
I do think his mum is a bit oblivious though.
Yeah.
yeah.
He's
Yeah.
like, yeah.
I mean, does she not fill up his mini fridge? That's a mum thing to do if you had a mini fridge in your bedroom, wouldn't it?
Fill it up with blood, mum, it's fine.
Yeah.
That's the blood in my mini fridge.
There's just little things that I'm
Change in
like,
favourite drink.
it's just little things like that. I'm just like, what? How would his mum not notice?
It's not pointing out the plot holes.
Sorry.
Having read this shortly after my Twilight obsession, very much love Simon becoming a vampire. Also, her burying him in the Jewish cemetery.
Yeah. That was...
I loved it. I felt they were pressuring him by telling his mum about being a vampire. A bit quick though through the book. I was like, let him adjust first. Could see why you'd want to keep it secret. Yeah. Let him sort of come to terms with the fact that he is now dead.
Yes.
Honestly, laughed when we found out Simon would have been fine if he'd just left it alone. Like, Simon, you idiot. It's very like accurate to his character though. It's Simon.
Yeah. If he hadn't have done that, you'd have been thinking that's not a very Simon thing to do.
Yeah.
Simon having a near-death experience in every chapter is so terrifying.
Yep.
Yeah, because even this one wasn't too bad. It was still pretty bad because it was like, is he actually going to make it out of the ground? But then later on, when ends a chapter, spoilers again, very big spoilers. I hope everyone who hasn't finished this has gone by this point because we're just full on going spoilers. I'm going to stop giving spoiler warnings now. Literally, it ends a chapter on him having his throat cut.
Yep.
And then you don't come back to that for like how many chapters? And it's like, what?
I messaged you and Liv.
Is this the bit that Shell voice noted you?
I messaged both Becca and Liv because I wanted one of them to reply like ASAP Rocky. I was like, tell me he's dead, but don't tell me if he's dead. I am not continuing this book. Tell me he's dead. And for those who don't already know, I actually had to type it out in writing to Liv that I wanted a spoiler so she could prove it down the line that I'd actually asked for a spoiler. She was like, no, he didn't that. Oh my God. I was like, I will legitimately put these books down and never pick up another book if he is dead. You can't kill off one of my favourite people.
Yeah.
But then that's not even the end of the near-death experiences, because then in that like final little bit when they're on the boat and the sun's coming up, and like I'm curious to see like if people have any ideas on why.
Shadowhunter blood.
Why?
I think it's Shadowhunter blood mixed with the vampire blood that keeps him. Because obviously, I'm sure they mentioned something about not mixing like blood or something. I'm sure, unless I've made it in my head, that like that's never happened before. Because obviously they drink from mundanes, don't they? They don't drink from Shadowhunters. So obviously that would never have happened before unless a vampire had gone and killed and drank from a Shadowhunter in the past. So this is a new thing. And I think they made a bit of scene out of it. So it must mean something.
Yeah.
Because they made a scene out of it. Like Jace was just like just drink my blood. And I was like, this is gonna be
Jace being all like selfless to someone who he appears to not even like.
I know.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
I love Jace so much. This is actually one of the notes I have. Luke giving his pamphlet back, coming out to his family. It's just like just adjust the words a little bit. I was just like,
so funny.
So cute.
Such a dad thing though. Here's a pamphlet to help you.
The thing is, I feel like that was a pretty good idea. Like, because that would be a pretty good way of him like coming out.
Yeah.
It might not be might be a different way of coming out. Bit more terrifying for our family, probably.
The way he started talking, I was like, "Hi, yeah, Mum, I'm actually an undead." Like, I could just see him. Oh God.
When Simon's reborn on the quote at the end of the chapter about him being vegetarian,
I know.
I know.
Oh, bless you.
Claire and Simon as the ultimate BFFs at everything for this series. I love them so much. Kate, I agree. I'm sure my mum would have suspected something, and also, I'm sure someone else would look in the fridge. Yeah. What mum doesn't come in and throw your curtains open and question whether you're really sick?
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
True.
But to be fair, Simon comes across as a very like teacher's pet type kid. So like if he's saying he's sick, his mum will believe him, because if he's saying it, then clearly he is, because it's not something he would do just all the time. So
Yeah.
there's that level of trust that his mum has with him. Because like when I was a kid and I used to say I'm sick, my mum knew that it meant I was actually sick, because when I was a kid, I loved school. Don't ask me why. I loved school. So like if I was sick, you knew it, because I wouldn't want to go to school.
Yeah.
So it's that level of like trust. Like I wouldn't just say I'm sick just to get out of it. Maybe when I got to like 16 and stopped liking school.
Yeah.
I'll give it to the show when it came to Simon's mum demanding answers almost right away. Yeah, that is one thing the show did a bit more realistically.
Oh, that's good.
Cassie Clare is the ultimate savage for cliffhanger chapters, then changed into some random POV for 6
Yeah.
chapters.
Yeah.
Like,
And
what
it's
the
not
hell?
even enough for chat.
Do you know when I read that bit after the scene with Simon, like I voice noted Danny and then I kept reading on and I had to go back because I was like, did I miss? Is he dead?
Why
Did I
have they
miss
left it on
something? I'm
this?
like, no, it's not there yet.
Yeah, I think it's to do with Jace's blood. Is it a Shadowhunter thing or a Jace specific thing? Jace letting Simon drink from him to save his life, even though they don't know each other, even though they don't like each other, just because Jace knows that Claire would be heartbroken if Simon died.
Yeah. But can we just discuss something we've not really discussed? Maya and Simon.
Huh?
What do we think about Maya and Simon?
Oh yeah, we haven't even talked about Maya.
Oh yeah.
I like, but also what happens when werewolves mix with vamps?
Don't know.
It's going to be a werewolf.
That is interesting, with the whole like finding out just why they hate each other so much. Like I really like that, because it actually gives a reason as to why they hate each other so much.
Yeah. I really want that to happen. Not just that. I just think that ever since Simon met her, they had a spark straight away, and he's not able to explore it, and neither she. Because even when she comes to the door, and she asks Clary if, they're best friends or if they're girlfriend and boyfriend, are they on and off all the time? It's clear that she has an interest in him as well. They're just not able to explore that because Clary's being selfish and just doing that.
But also, like, I think that's potentially why she kind of overreacted when she found out it was a vampire. Because she was like, maybe this is someone I could explore something with potentially if it didn't work out. And then to find out that, you know, it's someone from a different species she's supposed to hate. And then she very quickly checks herself and realizes that she was a bit of a bitch for just blaming Simon because he was turned by he didn't ask to be turned. Do you know what I mean? So, like, and then she went to apologize. I was like, oh, I like this. But I want to know how they're going to work out.
I cannot wait for book 3. Simon's a teacher's pet. I can imagine him reminding the teacher of homework. Like some of the Last Hours characters having that pamphlet scene would be brilliant. Yes. I think it's also because of the experiments that Valentine. Did not like how Maya originally reacted to Simon. Not cool. It's not cool, but you know, it was sort of like a reaction to like my train of thought's just gone. It was a reaction, like obviously their blood, like werewolf blood and vampire blood, they have that reaction to each other, but she's then realized that, you know, he's Simon, like that was not the reaction she should have had, and she's admitted that and she's apologized. And you know, I feel like I really liked that scene where she sort of like, you know, had the realization that, you know, it's not their fault that years and years and years ago vampires and werewolves were made to hate each other. So
also Luke nearly died. I'm not a fan of that.
No, me neither.
Oh yeah, I need the people to stop nearly dying, please.
That was a no-no for me. Bitch, please. Don't ever do that to me again. First Simon, then Luke, then Simon, again, then Simon, again.
I also really like Maya, but not saying any more spoilers. I forgot all about Maya's brother. So heartbreaking. Yeah, honestly, like her seeing her brother and also the ex-boyfriend who just like bites her and then runs off.
I know.
Like,
who the fuck does that?
I know.
Her ex-boyfriend.
Yeah.
You're gonna bite me, at least stay with me. What the?
Let's move out together. I'm excited to see how the relationship continues in the series. I like her character so far. Yeah, I really love Maya's character. I think she's awesome. I'm okay with Cassie nearly killing all her characters as long as she doesn't go through with it.
Yeah.
I mean, technically, she did kill Simon, but he arose from the grave.
He's now undead.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm trying to think what else. Also, right, this is not another plot thing. This really annoyed me. They say about the cell phone having an antenna. In the early 2000s, did they still have antennas in the early 2000s?
Some of the Nokias did.
Yeah.
And the flip phones did early.
I had my first phone in 2004, and never once did it have like any of them having an antenna.
Yeah,
they did. Quite a few of my phones had an antenna.
It's like there was a Samsung, like a small silver flip phone Samsung that had a little aerial. That's what I imagined the phone being.
Yeah.
When they described it.
Yeah.
I was just like, I don't remember this. This wasn't a thing I had. I didn't have, my first phone was 2004, and I didn't ever have a phone with an antenna. So I was really confused when I read that. I was like, this is supposed to be early 2000s. Was that a thing? But okay.
But then not all kids get brand new phones. So it could have been like a hand-me-down phone from his mum that doesn't care about him. Or,
his mum that doesn't care about him. I love that.
You know.
There have been so many near deaths, and it's only book 2.
Yep.
Yes.
Yes. Trip to the Sealy Court. Let's talk about this. How much do you hate the Sealy Queen?
So much.
Oh, you're gonna hate her more.
The thing is,
this is the reason why.
This was in the series as well, but seeing it, like, and was just as heartbreaking as reading it all. I'd forgotten about this bit until I read this in the book, and I was like, when I read it, I saw the reactions of the characters in the series when I watched it, and it made me want to cry. Poor Simon. But then the fact that and then that the ick, the fucking ick. And then the whole thing afterwards, where they were like getting close and they almost kissing, and I was just like, "Your brother and sister, your brother is stop."
Yeah, weirdly, it still didn't cringe me out as much as Simon and Clary.
Incest is still incest, Becca. Even if they don't sleep together.
But Simon gives me the ick in this book. He gives me the ick in this book.
No, that scene gave me more ick than Simon being.
At least it got him out of Fairy, though.
Yeah.
But do you know what? I love how Jace describes them, saying about how like they live for hundreds of years and they're as cunning as snakes. They can't lie, but they love to engage in creative truth telling.
Yeah.
They'll find out whatever it is you want most in the world and give it to you with the sting in the tail of the gift that will make you regret ever wanted it in the first place. And then obviously that then happens.
Yeah. And then he's like, "Told you so."
Literally, told you so.
Yeah.
But then this one,
the conversation after,
she was like, "Oh, let's go away," and he's like, "No."
Oh, we could have a relationship and we can just hide it from everyone else.
And he's like, "No, that made me feel sick." But to be fair, in this scene, Jace is very much like, "No, people will just make people just feel sick." And then she was like, "So that's what you think of us?" I'm like, "Yes, because it's not normal."
Yeah.
The thing is, sorry, go on.
Was it not? Clary says that people would find it.
No,
horrible.
Jace says it.
No, it was Jace.
It is
she
Jace.
was very much for wanting to keep it a secret and making it a thing.
Yeah,
like,
he says it, and then she's like, oh, so that's what you think, because she steps away, and I'm like, yes,
Right, yeah.
because it's incest. Even if you just kiss someone like that, it's still incest.
Disgusting.
But even when they're talking
Disgusting.
about certain things, and she'll have like her internal monologue, and she answers the opposite when she's talking about Jason. I'm like,
Yeah.
you're not even lying to yourself. You're just like, yes, I love my
You're not even
Billy.
trying here.
Stop
Like
it.
I do get the like the battle they're both having, because it's literally been like what,
Yeah.
a week since they found out. They went from like having feelings for each other, almost being a thing, finding out their siblings, and now this is the whole thing. But they shouldn't be acting on it, or even
Yeah.
thinking about acting on it. Like, no, don't
That's
run
the
away
thing.
together. Please
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah.
You know, see the scene in Jace's bedroom? Was that just after that when he goes in
Yeah.
the shower?
Mhm.
I was like, don't do it.
Oh,
Don't do it.
That's
Yeah.
what I was.
I honestly thought something was going to happen there. I thought because I think that was just after the conversation that they have where she's like, "Come on." No.
yeah.
And I was like, "Oh no, they're going to do something terrible. Something terrible is
No.
going to happen. Then they're going to have a baby. Oh my god, it's going to be awful."
But like, I think now, because we're gonna like circle back to like the whole Inquisitor thing, where when she's dying, she says something happens. There's like a little, there's a recognition thing there.
I was going to ask you
Oh,
what you thought she saw.
I think
the
that
star
somebody
what you
mentioned it
thought.
earlier about Stephen's son. I don't know if he's going to be Stephen's son, but I think that she's not. He's not who we've been made out to believe that he is. I don't think he's Valentine's son. I think Valentine said that he's his son to try and trick him and Clary to like not be a thing. Because I think if they become a thing, they'd be a powerful couple together. So he thinks that like if he keeps them as brother and sister, he can take Jace to help him out. But I think his son actually did die. And this boy belongs to someone else. And that Clary and him are going to find out they're not brother and sister, and she's going to fuck
Because
Simon
it's not
up.
confusing enough already. You want it to be more confusing. Wayland
They're not going to brother and sister, and then they're going to fuck off together, and Simon's going to be like, what about me?
But then at the same time, there's something, and these books aren't made to be straightforward. You have to use your brain and be like, what? So I think what Lisa's saying is quite a high possibility because it makes sense with the patterns that she writes. She likes to keep you guessing, and that's a twist that you would kind of not see coming. But at the same time, I understand the power thing. I think those two together would probably create like a really powerful shadow hunter baby.
She can create runes by herself.
And she can do that don't even exist in the Grey Book.
Exactly.
Can we talk about that room she does on the side of the boat? That just literally dismantles the entire thing.
That to me was like epic chef's kiss. Like, what the... See, her and Jace together, like, come on, man. The only thing that's making me doubt it a bit is that they've dragged it on for a book.
As well, you know, the mini tickle person. Tickle person. You know when it's like when Valentine's like she says mini tickle person or whatever it is.
Oh yeah.
That's actually from the Bible. And it's like when the hand writes on the wall, like the writing on the wall, and it says mini tickle person.
Really?
It is. It's in there. Which when I was reading that, I was like, oh, that's in the Bible. That is weird. Like, why is it the writing on the wall? Don't know if it had anything to do with that because it just meant open. She just meant open. But I'm like, what? Why is he saying that? That's like when a hand appeared and wrote on the wall.
I didn't even think to look it up when I read that. I was just like,
I just thought it was another bit of rambling. Yeah. A new little rhyme.
Yeah.
I like to. I'm like, I've seen that before, so then I googled it. But I don't think it means anything.
I've realised I've not been doing the comments. We've just been talking.
Sorry.
This is how far back it is. We were still talking about the antennas. My second phone had an antenna 2005-ish. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, my first phone was a Nokia 3410 with Snake on it.
Oh yeah.
I love the Queen Savage. That trick to get her to lick the fingers. Yes. Getting the the little
sneaky.
What was it? Was it a Nixie or something? Like bite her finger and just ow out of habit, because if you prick your finger or something, you're gonna go like that. Clever.
That was really clever.
Right now, I love the Sealy so savage. First off, Alec being forced to stay behind with Magnus, so awful for him. So awful. But he's having the worst time ever. I would have liked a chapter from that POV. Just saying. Meliorn, I'm not a fan of.
Yeah.
What do we think of Meliorn?
I think Izzy's just infatuated with him, isn't she? And she's like, is a little fainty, but he's a little shit.
Yeah.
He's one of these people that is going to get him into a lot of trouble because, like I said, they can't lie, but they can bend the truth, and they can be cheeky with it. So I think something's gonna happen where she gets herself into shit with Meliorn. Is there because she's infatuated with him, isn't she? Clearly, pretty obvious she is.
Yeah. She's so manipulative. I want to slap her. Sealy Quinn is so bad, but so good. She's so manipulative.
Yeah.
Got to admit, I love the Sealy Quinn for this, but hate her the rest of the series. Even though there's the ick, they needed to admit the truth of their relationship. I felt like it needed to be out in the air, because at least now they can sort of try and Jace has literally said no now, but before they was all tiptoeing around each other. They didn't they were both thinking things and nothing was being said. So I feel like that did prompt that conversation, and for Jace to be put his foot down and be like, no.
That really made me off that she still went back to Simon after that.
Yeah.
That
whole thing where and then Simon was just like, oh, okay then.
And I'm like, come on.
Simon just reaching for Clary without asking though. Ick. Stop it.
Yeah.
Also, thank you. The kiss is less cringe than Clary and Simon. It gives me the ick.
Leah.
So much.
Incest.
Don't understand how much I hate Simon and Clary in this book. I don't want the Jason Clary thing to happen, but I don't want Simon and Clary.
But at least it's not illegal. Is incest illegal? At least it's not. It's not.
I believe it is very much
illegal.
so, Lisa.
Yes,
I was gonna say I thought it was. I was just like,
I'm pretty sure Cousins isn't illegal,
Cousins
but
is all right.
is. I mean, it's not all right, but in the eyes of the law, it is.
Yeah,
it's not all right.
Izzy is iconic the whole time they're in the court. The Hills comment, blindfolding Simon, volunteering to kiss anyone. I love her. Izzy is a queen. We love Izzy.
Yeah.
Ooh, theories. Agree completely, Lisa.
Yes.
Oh yeah, there was a mention of another kid. I can't remember the scene, but someone says Valentine hurt his kid, and when someone says Jace, they say that's not who I was meaning. Try to remember that bit. I can't remember that bit.
Can't remember.
I need to go back.
Emma's just like, I'm saying no. Yes, Lisa, I agree. Simon can clearly move on after the kiss.
But the thing is, if just think of it as a normal human being. So not only is your girlfriend that you've just decided is your girlfriend without speaking to her, but that's by the by, kisses somebody else because she wants to, and then that breaks this kind of frigging spell. Not only is that's her brother. I'm gonna put brother now because I don't think that's a thing. Brother, and then clearly doesn't want to be with you because of the whole thing with the breaking of the spell. Like, why would you go back to that? What kind of human person was not a human anymore, is there?
No.
What kind of person thing would think that was okay? Like, oh, it's okay, you can still be my girlfriend.
But Simon just adores her so much that he will just keep taking the abuse off her because it's something. He's getting a reaction, he's getting some tidbit from her. And that's
I feel like it's a manipulative
so even
relationship.
though to us it's awful, to him he's like, I'm getting that little bit. You know, like he's just being for scraps, basically.
It's
That was my
definitely
friend.
on both sides though,
Yeah.
because whilst she is using him to try and get over her brother, he is still using her. Right, whether there's quotation marks or not, at this point, they're brother and sister, you know. Like,
Yeah.
I just don't understand why she's using her best friend for this, and he's just taking it. Like, he shouldn't be letting her do this. He knows it's not right, and he's just letting her. And he's being selfish as well, because he's doing it for his own sake. He knows he shouldn't, because it's just going to make things worse in the long run for them, and could completely ruin their friendship.
But I think he's already started to have some kind of pull towards Maya in this. So I think potentially that's why he's not, although he's still a bit icky with Clary, I don't think he was very as much of a puppy dog near the back end of the book. It was more, their interactions were more like caring for each other as friends kind of thing. Because I think that he is being drawn more towards her. And I think Claire is jealous of that. Like the way that like she was like, well, who's this? Who's she? And like, you've not mentioned her. I'm like, bitch, you've got no reason, you've got no
She
right
has
to be
no
jealous.
right. Yeah,
Who do
she's
you
got
think you
absolutely
are?
no right. I could understand it if it was in the friend sense of like, oh, I'm looking out for my friend, like, who's this new person? Because, like, you know, if my friend starts dating someone new, I'm like,
Yeah.
what's their name? Where do they live? I'm gonna go like, I need to make sure they're legit. But she's not doing it in that way. She's doing it in the way that she feels like she has a claim on him.
Yeah.
Yes.
And no,
she just
that's not how this
it's
works.
like no one else is allowed to have Simon because Simon's hers. And anyone that comes close, I mean, she was really rude to Maya in Luke's house. She was so dismissive and rude, and it was like, grow up. Like, you don't even care about him anyway.
Yeah. You want to sleep with your own fucking brother. Just you go do you and let Simon go sleep with the werewolf. Sorry.
Would you not want your best friend to be happy though?
Yeah.
That's what I don't get.
Also, Simon leaves the court and goes and becomes a vampire straight after, like him avoiding the conversation by dying. Can relate. That is definitely, if I was in this situation, that's definitely something I would do. Like, don't want to have this conversation. I'm off. Bye.
Most people go to avoid the problems by drinking. He's like, I'm just gonna go die.
Chloe could do anything, and Simon would still want to be with her.
Sad but true.
There are so many guys in the world other than Jace, and all Clary did was go 2 inches to the left of Simon only because it was easy, and that is ick. But then his jealousy of her just makes it worse. Yeah.
It's not a good combination.
Or she could have just not gone with any guy because her mum is in a coma. She should be focusing on finding out how to sort that one out.
Do you know she actually speaks about Simon, Jace, more than she speaks about her mum being sick?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's like, come on.
Luke seems more bothered about the woman than her own daughter does.
Going to do this comment, then I want to talk about Luke. Simon's just burying his head in the sand, isn't he, when it comes to Clary? Yes, he is.
Yeah.
On Luke, the whole story about him and Jocelyn. I love Luke, and I love that Clary now knows the whole history behind how Luke comes back into Jocelyn's life.
Yeah.
And it's just so cute. And then she's like fully trying to like matchmake her mum who's in a coma. Like, does this girl not think about anything else other than like matchmaking?
So, maybe she's in love with you.
Hormones though.
Huh?
She's got a lot of hormones. She's what? How old is she again? Is she 15?
15.
17.
Yeah,
she's 15 in this one.
She's got a lot of bam chicka wow bubbling.
Jace and Alec are like, I think Alec's just turned 18 in this one. Jace is almost 18 in this one. Isabel is either 15 or 16, and Clary and Simon are 15.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It's just like, do you not think she was in love with you? Like, but I'm just like, she's in hospital. She can.
Yeah.
What's she gonna do? Go and be like, I'm in love with you.
That wee bit of hope when she said her mum said that she, like, was it that she loved someone or? But she's like, I don't think she was talking about Valentine, so maybe it was you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And he was like, oh, did she say, like, and I'm like
also, don't give him false hope. Just if you don't know for certain whether it was Luke, don't do
the
that.
woman's awake,
Yeah.
for goodness sake, before you start like making things up. Oh.
Clary trying to get Luke and Jocelyn together, but she's in a coma. Luke being in love with Jocelyn but not acting on it was so heartbreaking. It's literally Simon and Clary.
Yeah. I think that's why Luke feels so sorry for Simon, because he's like, I have done the same thing as you.
But he can also see that Claire is using him.
Yeah.
That Claire is like a daughter to him, so he's not going to say anything.
No.
She better choose Luke if she wakes up. Hopefully that woman at the end of this book is telling the truth about knowing how to wake her up. Well, yes, I was literally about to move on to this. When people think about this. About the little person she meets by the hospital.
Well, my little spoilery people didn't tell me.
Oh,
I forgot. I'm sorry.
My voice note to you said about the woman's come and said she can wake her up.
When did you send that?
Then
I've not read that.
That'll be the one you've not listened to, so that'll be why you don't know that. Yes, so at the end, the woman meets her outside the hospital and said that she put herself into the coma so that Valentine couldn't question her, and that only one person knows how to wake her up. Basically, this woman.
Yeah, literally the last line is, I mean, I can show you how to wake your mother up. Yeah. That's the last line of the book.
I would like to clarify, I have read this book. I just didn't quite finish the end.
Was it like 40 pages you didn't manage?
Yeah.
So close.
I powered through a lot of it today.
You did.
Madeline Belle Fleur is the lady that's going to wake her mother up.
Is she though, for a price?
Probably.
Don't trust it. I think he's dodgy as frick.
Why is she not appeared until now?
Exactly.
Like, I've just remembered another thing I wrote down, which is like not to do with the plot at all. But when they're fighting the demons and Jace is like, my jacket's been torn. This is like my favourite jacket.
That's a total Jace thing to say, though.
Especially since he's got the fearless broom, so he's not focusing on what he should be, like being scared of all the demons attacking them. He's
just like,
come on, my jacket.
But then there's another. Oh, I almost threw my phone off the sofa. There was another scene when the Inquisitor was taking Jace away when she put him in the cuffs, and he walks past the mirror, and she makes a comment about him checking himself out in the mirror. But he is quite a vain character. He does.
I mean, can blame him if Jamie Campbell.
Well, yeah.
Yes.
If I looked like that, I'd be checking myself out all the time. Speaking of how Clary was with Maya, she was the same with Izzy, and I feel it just speaks to Clary's own insecurities.
Yeah.
Clary tries to say Izzy hates her, but I didn't see that. I mean, Izzy's quite cold towards Clary at first, but she's never downright nasty to Clary. This is happening in autumn, isn't it? Why is no one at school?
I did think that too.
I'm pretty sure it's like isn't it like the Oh, I think the first book is like the last like sort of week of what would be the summer holidays. But then this one, I'm like, to be fair, Jocelyn's only like parent who's in the picture is currently in a coma.
So they're not going to phone her and complain. They're not going to phone her and complain that she's not at school because, well, she's not going to answer.
Well, Clary getting ready to go to art school though. Was she applying for art school? Isn't that?
But surely she must have exams or something. And Simon's obviously not going either. He's sleeping.
I don't get that. Like, although Simon's sick, remember?
Oh, yeah. But why is he not getting his homework delivered? He's the type of person that would get his homework delivered.
He would be like, can you get my homework and bring it?
Yeah.
He would definitely be that sort of kid. Mm-hmm. The way the show handles Jocelyn was the fight. Yes, same. We're not going to talk about that. We're going to focus on the books because that angers me so much. I thought Clary turned 16 in the first book. Oh, yeah, the greenhouse scene is her birthday.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay,
I
so
was
she's
gonna
just
say,
turned 16.
Yeah.
She mentions in this book being 16, like to
Yeah.
someone.
But she's literally only just 16.
Yeah.
So, like,
But
because it's like,
Simon's 15, isn't he?
yeah.
yeah.
Now he's 15 forever.
Oopsie.
Luke sticking by and supporting Jocelyn for all these years, though, is too cute. It is so cute.
But he looks out for her daughter as well, so it's like it's not just that. It's not a similar thing with Simon and Clary. It's
No.
he adores Jocelyn and her daughter and tries to do everything that he can.
Yeah, and he is genuinely, as much as he, loves Jocelyn, he's doing it to be a good person. He's not doing it
He's
for
never
any sort of
forced himself on
ulterior
her.
motive. Yeah.
Like, oh, it's my girlfriend. I was like, what?
Yeah, he offered to marry her. He offered to marry her, but that was for the security for her if she wanted it. It wasn't like, I'm going to force you to marry me. Like, he respected her wishes and was just there as a friend. So he is a good person. I love
Mind
him.
you, when she wakes up from the coma, it might be like, hey, girlfriend. She might not know.
I feel like he won't do what Simon does and calls his girlfriend without discussing it.
Well, you never know.
They are adults.
Mm.
I'm avoiding saying anything as read all the books. So I don't want to say any spoilers. So just listening and doing my cross stitch. Honestly, the safest bet. I wonder if the school know about the coma. This is the thing. I feel like everything's happened so quickly. Has anyone had the chance to be notified? I feel like Luke would have Luke's very responsible and adult. I feel like he would have somehow contacted the school and everything and let them in on the mundane things that happened, like her mum being in the hospital and everything.
But they don't have a house anymore, so do they?
No, she's living with Luke.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. It's the beginning of summer because at the beginning of book 1 they were about to go away to the cabin for summer. Oh yeah, true. So it is summer in this book.
Oh, coincidentally. What a coincidence.
Yeah, so if they are supposed to be in school, then Simon would need to be in school. Yeah, Clary, Simon, and Izzy are all the same age. Jace is 1 year older and Alex 2 years older. Then Magnus is a few thousand years older.
What was the line that he said when someone asked him how old he was?
Oh.
Do you know what I'm talking about? He said the funniest sentence.
I don't have the book in front of me. I was going to have a look.
I feel like that is something. I feel like it's something I would have put. Also, I've just looked at one of the things that made me laugh, and it was when Claire is saying to Simon about think about Luke, you can still live a normal life after Simon gets turned. And he's like, what about us? Do you want a vampire boyfriend? Because I foresee many romantic picnics in our future. You drinking a virgin pina colada, me drinking the blood of a virgin. I just love Simon so much.
Yeah,
the blood of a virgin.
Trying to find it.
Yeah.
There. Chloe said about the Dead Sea when it was just a lake having a bad day or something.
That was it.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
I was a child from the Dead Sea was just a lake with a cold. Malik is proof that sometimes I'm okay with a large age difference.
Thought you were going to say large something else then, but same.
Oh, okay. So does anyone, because I've realised we've been talking for almost 2 hours, does anyone else have any points that
I hope that Jocelyn survives. She wakes up, but she'll have a lot to answer to when it comes to Clara. I want her and Luke to admit feelings for each other because I'm a sucker for something like that. I want Jason and Clara not to be brother and sister, but also I kind of don't want them to be a thing anymore either because it's just weird. I want Simon to get with Maya, whatever her name is. And I want Alex to just be out and proud by him and but I also think Izzy's gonna fall for that. What's his name? Melion. Something's gonna happen with those two, and he's gonna get her into some shit. I think so. They're my predictions. Go, rest of you.
Katie?
I would like Simon not to properly die. You know, not to be actually dead. Again, I want Alec to just come out. I want him and Magnus to like have a little coffee shop together or something. And I don't want Jace and Clary to be together either. I also don't think that they're brother and sister, but I don't think that that's a good enough reason for them to be together.
True.
And I want Simon to grow some balls and to tell Clary to get lost and for him to be with Maya. But I also want him to, because I remember you saying that his character development's really good. I'm excited to see how he develops because he's got so much potential.
Yes.
And you just want to scream and shake him. And I'm quite excited to see how he progresses as the books go on.
Yeah.
And Luke and Jocelyn, I don't know if I want them to be together. I think there must be a reason why they never got together. And I think it has something to do with the past.
I think it's because she didn't want. She mentioned that she wanted to distance herself from the Shadowhunters, because she wanted to keep Clary away from it. So if she brought Luke into her life that close, then that would not necessarily keep Clary away from it.
Yeah, he literally says when he's telling Clary that he didn't want to keep the fact that he's a werewolf from Clary growing up.
Yeah.
And Jocelyn didn't want Clary to know any of that, which is why.
But I still have a weird feeling that there's something that happened in the first round.
They're actually brother and sister. Luke and Jocelyn are actually brother and sister.
I just feel like something happened in the past.
Right.
Like there's more to the story of what happened with Valentine, and I feel like Jocelyn plays a big part of it. And I think she isn't able to tell Luke, which is why.
Oh.
That's the way I think of it. I think because we don't know her side, she's been in a coma pretty much
poor bitch.
most of the time.
Yeah.
So I think she has a lot of secrets that she doesn't want to. I think she's done a lot of bad things, but maybe not necessarily meant them. But it's got a lot to do with Valentine, and I think Luke might look at her differently.
Good theory. I like that. Someone in the car agrees with you. I agree.
Obviously not going to ask Danny because Danny has read these and I'm not going to say anything.
Danny's like, don't ask me.
No, I'm
ready for more Magnus and Alec. Good night, Emma. Thank you for joining us. Think I'm going to start City Glass tomorrow. Yeah, I am thinking. So my next read is going to be a comic book because I want to feel a bit accomplished and get something quick done, easy. But then I think I might tomorrow night once I finish that. I think I'm gonna start City Glass.
Well, I did start this today, but I'm already like.
See, I'm doing a bubble read with the book club for that, so I'm
already on chapter 27.
I'm sorry, I don't recall getting voice notes from you. Did they not come through? Okay.
We did some sprints today, 1 hour sprints, and I've flown through this way quicker than I expected to. And then I came on straight on here after, so I will send. But yeah, after this, I'm going to go on a City of Glass because I need to know how this storyline progresses.
I want to see Idris. I want Valentine to have a very bad day. I guarantee you're going to see more of Idris, and I'm excited for you to see Idris because honestly, I want to go there.
I do as well. It's amazing.
Can we all go together? Yeah.
Just doesn't exist, but okay.
Shut up. In my mind, it does.
Well,
and someone to actually teach Clary and stop being like mundane.
I like that. Yeah, I agree as well.
Oh, this was such a lovely little discussion. I had so much fun talking about this, but I mean, I enjoyed the City of Bones one, but like the more the books go on, the more I can talk.
I feel like it's never going to be an hour-long show though with these books.
No, there's so much to talk about in them, but it's just like you can't stick to just 1 hour.
Yeah.
So, on that note, I thank you three for joining me and talking, and thank you everyone in the comments. Thank you, and we will see you next time. Then I will let everyone know the date for the next one. It will be the Saturday, the 2nd of April. Lisa will actually be in my house for it.
I was just about to say I can't make the next one. You ruined it.
We might just need the support group more after book
I'm
3.
going to get the support with Becca sat right next to me, so
yeah, I'll be like, it's okay. Yeah, I've just answered that. 2nd of April. Thanks for the live show. It's been a fun discussion. Thank you, everyone, and see you next time.